Hi, good morning everyone. Welcome to yoga. I'm Trish and we're going to do a nice dynamic back bending session this morning. So just make sure you're always working at your own level, that at any time if anything doesn't feel good, come out of the shape. Also take a break if you need to, and just remembering that we don't want to be crunching through our bones today. So listen for the cues, and then once again make sure that if anything doesn't feel right, come out of the shape. So let's start this morning in child's pose. So let's just bring the big toes together at the back of your mat. Knees can be together or out wide. And then from here, just gently swaying the hips from side to side, lengthening the spine, and then just resting the forehead down. And just take a couple of breaths here as we inhale, start to widen out across the back. As you exhale, just softening through the hips, the belly and the chest. And just allowing the weight of your torso to melt down onto your thighs. Maybe softening the elbows and just letting everything melt down. Just checking in with the body, notice how everything feels, where you might be holding onto tension. Just breathing into those areas. And as you exhale, just softening down. And we'll just take two more nice deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, let's slowly lift up through the head and heart, pushing back into the left hip, belly hugging to the spine. Walk your hands across towards the right. And then as we exhale, melting down, pushing back into that left hip, feeling that nice stretch across the left side of your back. And then from here, lengthening up, coming back through center. Take two breaths in the middle, just checking in with the body, noticing how everything feels. One side compared to the other. And then let's lift up through the head and heart, belly hugging in, walking across to the second side, grounding back into your right hip this time. And as you exhale, melting down. Just breathing into that right side of the back. And then from here, let's come back through center. Take a couple more breaths here. And then when you're ready, let's roll ourselves up into tabletop, stacking the wrist underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Hands are shoulder width apart, knees and feet hip width apart. Let's do a few cat-cows here. So as we inhale, we lengthen the spine. As we exhale, belly hugs in, rolling the belly and rolling the spine as we roll the chin to the chest and roll the crown of the head towards the mat. Lifting through the abdomen, and then as we inhale, widening hips and collarbones, keeping the core active, belly hugging in as we start to lengthen up, squeezing through the backs of your shoulder blades, as you start to charge the heart, and then maybe starting to lengthen through the neck, reaching the chin up towards the sky, maybe drawing the eye gaze towards the sky if the neck allows. So moving with the breath as we exhale, rounding, lifting through the front of the body. And as we inhale, lengthening and arching. And going that little bit deeper with each breath. Maybe starting to activate your foundations as well. So you're perhaps starting to flatten the shins and tops of your feet into the mat. Maybe grounding back into the roots of your fingers as you arch and drawing the hands back towards the knees as you keep the belly hugging in and squeezing through the backs of the shoulder blades. And then as we exhale, pushing into the shins, pushing into the tops of your feet, pushing into the hands as we push the mat away and lift the belly, lift the chest, and get a little bit more opening through the back. Let's do one more here. Feeling that energy moving up the spine. Okay, from here, come back into your arch shape, roll the shoulders away from the ears, dropping the chest and then sliding the hips forwards. Bring the elbows forwards, come into Sphinx, and then lengthen out through your toes. So from here, letting the tops of your thighs roll in towards each other, so we're feeling broadening across the lower back. As we inhale, start to lengthen from the toes Up through the insides of your legs. Keep rolling your tailbone back towards the floor while you keep the tops of your thighs rolling in towards each other. Belly hugging into the spine as we lengthen all the way up. Keep reaching the heart forwards and then squeezing through the backs of the shoulder blades. Let's take a couple of nice deep breaths here. So we're feeling a nice opening up through the hips, the abdomen, opening through the chest, but feeling no pinching through the bones in the lower back. Breathing into the heart. Maybe if it feels good, you can extend that arch all the way up through the neck and throat. Maybe drawing your elbows in towards the mat and pulling your elbows back towards your hips without them moving. So you feel like that's drawing you a little bit deeper. Make sure there's no pinching in the lower back. Okay, bring the head back to center, keeping the tailbone rolling under, tops of the thighs rolling in, engaging that TVA band from hip to hip where your undies sit at the front of the body, and keep rolling that back towards your bum so you're once again lifting out of the lower back. So keeping all those back bending cues active, lengthen the heart forwards, inhale. As we exhale, keep the shoulders sliding down. We're going to turn the head towards the left and then looking back behind you. So you're just feeling a little pinch or squeezing through the kidneys and the adrenals on that left side, but without crunching through the bones. Inhale back to center, exhale to the second side. So this is creating crunching your bones. Come a little bit lower, bring the elbows further forwards. Okay, and then inhale, lengthen up, exhale back to the first side. Inhaling, lengthen, exhale, second side. Keep rolling that TBA band back. Inhale to center, one more on each side. Exhale, and then inhale, lengthen. Exhale, second side. All right, inhale back. Exhale, come down, bring your hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, roll the chin to the throat, and then fold yourself back into down dog. So coming into our first down dog of the morning, let's just stretch everything out here. So keep the weight pushing back into the hips, stretching out across the back, belly hugging into the spine, and then gently starting to walk the legs out. So keeping the toes on the ground, bending the knee, bringing the thigh to the torso, and then lengthening the heel back to the floor as we keep pushing the weight of the hips back towards the wall behind. Stretching out across the back of the body. Deepening the breath. Maybe just shake your head from side to side, nod it up and down, and releasing across the back. Okay, from here, let's roll forwards, come back down onto your knees. We're going to come into heart melting pose for 5 breaths. Option perhaps with the block. So if you have a block, maybe grab your block now. And we just want to open the chest a little bit more. So from your tabletop position, keep your hips anchored over your knees, belly hugging into the spine. Feet and knees are hip width. We start to melt the belly towards the thighs as you walk your hands forwards. Come down onto your elbows, rest your forehead, and then from here, hold your block. Make sure the heel of your hand is pushing into the block. Okay, and then rest the forehead, and then bring the block up to towards the sky. So inhale, and then as we exhale, we keep the belly hugging into the spine, and we start to push your hands against the block, and you feel that starting to engage just in between your shoulder blades. As that starts to contract, you start to feel the chest opening a little bit more. So as we engage one side of the body, the other side starts to open, and we start to breathe into the heart here as we melt the heart further down towards the mat. Keep the belly hugging in, maybe starting to arch your tailbone towards the sky. All right, when you're ready, bring the hands down in front of you. Bring the head up, ground into the hands, and then roll your armpits in as you slide your chest forwards, maybe coming up into Sphinx or coming up into Seal. Lengthening the heart, shoulders away from the ears. Keep lifting up through the insides of your legs. Tailbone is rolling back down. Tops of the thighs rolling in towards each other. TVA band is rolling back. And belly hugging in, lengthening the heart forwards. Breathing in here. All right, we're going to do 3 back to each side. So inhale, keeping the shoulders down. Make sure there's no pinching in the lower back. So once again, you can come into Sphinx. You can bring the elbows further out, or you can be in Seal. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, looking over one shoulder. Make sure there's no pinching in the lower back. Shoulders are sliding down the back. Inhale back to center. Exhale, second side. Inhale, keep lengthening to the middle. Exhale, first side. Inhale, center. Exhale to the second side. Sliding the shoulders down the back. One more on each side. Inhaling back, and last one here. Inhale back to center. Exhale, roll your spine back down. You block out of the way. Hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale. Exhale, roll yourself back and come back into down dog. Take a few breaths here as we stretch out across the back. So keep widening out across your hips, melting belly to thighs, and then start to roll the tops of your thighs in towards each other and feel that space through the lower back. Keep pushing the hips back towards the wall behind you. Breathing into the back. Once the back feels like it's quite open, let's walk the legs out again. So really get that stretch out through the arch of your foot as you bend the knee, bringing the thigh to the torso. And then as we exhale, keep pushing the weight of the hips back towards the wall behind. Okay, from here, let's come just through one more little flow through. And so you have the, we're not going to stay for 3 breaths. So from here, we're going to come through knees, chest, and chin. So option 1 is to come forwards and then come back down onto your knees. Otherwise, maybe just come onto your toes, float your knees off the mat. Okay, shoulders away from the ears, and then slide yourself through, opening up. So it's like this, right? And then we shoulders away from the ears, so you bring the chest down and you hover the knees. Otherwise, so it's exactly like knees, chest, and chin. Don't collapse your hips, Sheila. So think about knees, chest, and chin. It's a core activation. Come back onto your knees. Okay, so just feel when you lift your knees. Can you feel the core working there? All right, so you've got to engage that as well as do that with the lats. If that's not accessible, come back bring the knees onto the floor. And then come through knees, chest, and chin. So bring the chest down. Yep, exactly. So we have both of those movements with the core as well as with the lats to get into that shape. All right, come through your back bend, breathing into the heart. Opening up. And then exhale, roll back into down dog. Take a couple of nice deep breaths here. All right, let's come into our 3-legged. So from here, option 1, come back into tabletop and do it with one leg. Option 2, maybe grab your chair for your 3-legged dog variation, or you can do it on the ground. Okay, so from here, we take the right leg, inhale, extend that foot back, squaring the hip, and then just extending out through the heel, or the toe, or the ball of your foot, or the toes, and then rolling down through the outer hip, rolling up through that inner thigh. Keep squaring the hips, belly hugging into the spine. Let's now open that hip up and then bend that top knee. Square the shoulders, belly hugs in. We trace a circle with the knee, roll forwards, knee comes to the same side, elbow or armpit lifting through your core. Inhale, extend the foot back. Open the hip, bend the knee, square the shoulders, trace a circle, roll forwards, knee comes to the opposite elbow. Okay, bring that foot out to the side, Sheila. Bring the foot out to the side. Bring your back heel down. Lift out of the hip, lift out of the shoulder. So straighten that right leg, straighten it out, yep, and then wrap that underneath shoulder around and open the left hand to the sky. Maybe reach it forwards. Exhale, bring the hand down. Inhale, take the foot back. Open the hip, bend the knee. Square the shoulders, trace a circle. Belly hugs in, roll forwards, knee to nose or forehead. Look in between the hands, step your foot forwards. Come onto the back knee, and let's come into low lunge. So inhale, coming up. Okay, from here, option 1, come into cactus arms, and then coming into a little back bend as you squeeze through the backs of the shoulder blades. Option 2, hands in prayer or a little pointer. Lifting out of the ribs as we inhale, as we exhale, belly hugs in, and then starting to arch back. Keep squeezing through the backs of your shoulder blades, and then lifting up through the ribs. Keep the tailbone rolling back towards the floor. Lifting out of the hips, sorry. All right, exhale, come forward. Keep that left knee on the floor now, and then Just gently draw the hips back and forth a few times, breathing into the back of that right leg. And then now come forwards, bring your left hand down, belly hugs in, right hand reaches to the sky. As you exhale, keep hugging the belly in, drawing your knees in towards the midline as you keep twisting from the ribs. Okay, now push into your right foot and then reaching, coming up. Hang on, I'm facing the wrong side. Sorry, I should have thought this through. I've just turned to the other side so I can see you. So you're twisting towards your opposite leg. Push into the big toe pad of your front foot so that knee doesn't roll out to the side. Okay, from here, turn your palm, your left palm facing up and keep scooping upwards. Sorry, my bad. I should have done it on the other side. So we're in this position and then we start to reach the left arm up. Bring your right hand behind, maybe bring it to the hip. Now, let's square the chest back towards the front and then rolling the tailbone under, lifting out of the fingertips and then come into a little back bend arch here. So keep reaching out through the fingers. And then from here, let's exhale, hug the belly in, slice that hand through into the outside of your knee. So if you can't get the elbow into the knee, straighten the arms so that it's on the outside of your knee. Okay. And then from here, you can either just take the other arm and as you exhale, hug the belly in as you open or maybe come lower, bring your hands into prayer and you're using your elbow into the outside of the knee to push. So bring the hand down and you can bring the other hand and just keep pushing that elbow against the knee as you keep winding the ribs. So you should feel this through that left side. Okay, inhale, come back up. Okay, tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, come into high lunge. From here, let's come into one more little back bend, reaching back. And then exhale, bring the hands forwards. Step the back foot in. Inhale halfway, exhale to forward fold. Take a few breaths here. So bend the knees as much as you need to, and then maybe shake the head from side to side, nod it up and down, releasing the shoulders, little figure eights, upper back, middle back, lower back and sacrum. Keep that hip crease active, lifting the hips back up towards the sky, belly is hugging in towards the spine. Okay, when you're ready, bend the knees and roll yourself back up one vertebra at a time. Take the arms around. Exhale back to the heart. Take a few breaths here. When you're ready, release the hands. Take your arms above your head. Take hold of your right wrist with your left hand. Shoulders away from the ears, reaching across towards your left and opening up through that right side. Keep rolling that top shoulder open, belly hugs in. Inhale back up, exhale shoulders away from the ears, swapping to the second side, bottom hand holding the top wrist. Belly hugs in, inhale back up. Exhale, bend the knees, widen the hips, forward fold. Inhale to halfway. Exhale down, inhale leading with a heart for your back bend, head comes up, hands along the sides. So option one, interlace your fingers, and option two, hands on hips. Option three, heels of the hands supporting, or bringing the heels, fingers pointing up. Lifting up through the insides of your legs, roll the tops of your thighs in towards each other, tailbone rolls down, and then keep lifting the hips up, winding the shoulders back, squeezing through the backs of your shoulder blades, bringing the elbows back behind you. Keep drawing the heart towards the sky, or ribs to the sky, and then maybe bringing the chin to the sky. Breathing into the front of the body. Make sure there's no pinching through the lower back. Inhale back up. Exhale, bend the knees, widen the hips, forward fold. Inhale to halfway, releasing the lower back. So keep lengthening, widening the hips, lengthening the heart forwards. And now draw your head and your eye gaze up and forwards. So as you look forwards, you feel that releasing the lower back a little bit more. Okay, let's now sit a little bit lower, bring your hands into your hips and pull your hips back. So you're feeling that direction, and then extend the arms out. Hover your belly above your thighs. So bring the hands now in front of the head. And then we're going to do 3 breaths here as we exhale, palms face down, squeezing through the backs of the shoulder blades. Try to keep your belly hovering above the thighs. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, squeeze. One more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale and squeeze. Now let's inhale, lengthen. And then inhale, come up into chair. All right, Slide the shoulders down the back, lengthening up through the front of your spine, extend up through your fingertips. As we exhale now, we're going to slowly lower our bum and then bring the hands forwards. Okay, so come as deep as is comfortable and then roll yourself back and find that weight onto your sit bones. Bring the hands down if you need to. And then let's transition into boat pose. So from here, finding that balance on your sit bones, keep that TVA band really active. And then pelvic floor lifts, belly hugs in, drawing your lower ribs towards the hips, lifting up through the sternum, maybe extending the legs out. All right, from here, bend the knees, roll yourself back, bring the feet up towards the sky. Okay, take a couple of breaths here. And then from here, we're going to take the arms up. We're going to do 3 on each side. So your modification is to bend the knees. Okay, otherwise have the legs straight. Lengthen up as we inhale. As we exhale, we're going to bring the left leg down as we come up, and we're just reaching to the side of your right leg. Belly hugged into spine. Inhale back. Exhale to the second side. Drawing the ribs to the hips. Inhale back. Exhale to the first side. Inhale back. Exhale to the second side. Keep that TVA band active. Inhale back. One more on each side. And then inhaling back. And last one here. Inhale back up. All right. Exhale, bend the knees, bring the feet down, and take a couple of breaths here. If you need to hug the knees in, you can hug the knees in. All right. From here, let's walk the feet in towards the bum. And now our feet are hip width apart, and maybe you can touch the heels here. So keep your thighs really active if you like, so that just to keep the thighs working, you can grab a block and pop the block in between your knees, because sometimes what happens is the knees will roll out to the sides or they'll roll in towards each other. So by doing that, that's going to keep our knees and feet at hip width. So we're going to do 3 spinal rolls here, and then we're going to come into shoulder bridge for 5 breaths. So as we inhale, we're going to start to push into the feet, scoop your pelvis under, and as you exhale, you roll up. Breathe in at the top, and then as you exhale from the top of the spine, roll yourself back down 1 vertebra at a time and come back into a neutral spine. Okay, so inhale, curl under, exhale, squeeze the glutes, lifting up, breathing in at the top, and then as we exhale, rolling back down. One more here, inhale, curl under, exhale, lifting the hips. And then as you exhale, roll it back down. And so now let's stay in our shoulder bridge. You can maybe bring the heels a little bit closer in. Inhale, curl under, exhale, lifting the hips. So option 1 is to stay here with the hands by your hips. Otherwise, maybe bring the hands above the head, or maybe walk the feet a little closer in and make sure there's no pinching in your lower back, and starting to keep that, holding that block as you maybe hold onto your ankle. So that's just going to bring that stretch a little bit deeper. 5 breaths here, whatever variation you're in. Make sure there's no pinching in the lower back. Keep rolling the tailbone under and then lifting the hips. All right, when you've done your 5, release and then roll yourself back down. Release the block. And then bring the hands out by the sides. Belly hugs in, just dropping the knees from one side to the other. Okay. Come into a deeper twist. Bring the feet back up towards the sky. All right, take the arms above the head. Okay, from here, we're going to inhale, lengthen up. As we exhale, we reach towards the left, and then take your hands apart, or your right. So go to your right, sorry, Sheila. So you're facing me. Okay, take the arms apart. Maybe bend that top knee if you need to. All right, and then from here, we're going to pop the hips towards your right. Belly hugs in, and then we come straight into our twist here. Try to keep the shoulder grounded, or bring your hand onto your back if you need to. Keep the belly hugging into the spine. All right, belly hugs in. Inhale, bring the hips back to center, feet back in the center. Bend the knees, and then just rock a little bit from one side, other way. Okay, opposite directions, and other way. All right, take the legs back up. Take the arms up, inhale, as we exhale to the second side. Open the arms out so you're Left hand is now in line. You maybe hold the edge of your foot or hold on to the side of the knee. And then from here, we pop the hips across towards the left. Belly hugs in, and then keep the shoulder grounded as you bring the leg or the knee down. Keep the belly hugging in. So maybe that leg just comes through there or there. So keep the shoulder on the mat. Just releasing the back here. And then when you're ready, belly hugs in. Inhale, bring knees and hips back to center. Bend the knees and then just gently rock yourself from side to side. Circle the knees in one direction, back the other way. Opposite directions. And then back the other way. Okay, from here, options, legs to the sky, forward fold or plough. So option one is maybe just take the legs up and or you can bring them back a little bit just to get a little stretch. Otherwise, maybe come up and then come forwards. Maybe bend the knees a little bit if you need to. Or maybe making sure there's nothing behind you. Make sure there's no hair at the back of your head. Maybe roll yourself back into plough and then bring your hands behind your back. So coming into your forward fold, whatever variation that you're in, 5 breaths here. If you're in plough, keep lifting the hips back up towards the sky and breathing into the back of the body. And coming a bit higher onto the shoulders. All right, when you're ready, we're going to release and we're going to meet back in boat. So if you're in your legs to the sky or you're in your seated forward, so if your legs to the sky or plough, you roll forwards. If you're in forward fold, you roll back. Okay, so we find that weight on our sit bones and then we lift up here. 5 breaths. Inhale, lengthening up. Keep lifting up through the sternum as you exhale. Keep drawing the ribs towards the hips. Okay, bend the knees, bring the hands forwards, and then step or float back into plank. Okay, from your plank, you can either bend the knees, bring them back to the floor, come through knees, chest, and chin, or hover the knees, and then come through, opening the heart. Exhale, let's roll back. Down dog. Take a few breaths here. Just breathing into the back, stretching out across the legs. Stretching out across the back. All right. We shake the head from side to side, nod it up and down. Let's do the other side. So take the left leg back this time. And then squaring the hip. Now open the hip, bend that top knee. Square the shoulders, trace a circle, belly hugs in. Roll forwards, knee comes to the same side, elbow or armpit. Inhale, extend the foot back. Open the hip. Bend the knee, square the shoulders, trace a circle, belly hugs in, knee comes to the opposite elbow. Now extend the foot out to the side. Back heel comes down, and then lift out of the shoulder, lift out of the hip, open the right arm to the sky. Exhale, bring that hand down. Awesome, Sheila, well done. Inhale, extend the foot back. Open the hip, bend the knee, square the shoulders. Trace the circle. Roll forwards, knee to nose or forehead. Look in between the hands, step your foot forwards, come onto your back knee. Stacking knee above ankle, make sure the weight's on the kneecap. Inhale, come up. Let's come into our back bend. So option 1, cactus arms. Option 2, hands above the head, maybe goalposts or prayer or little clasping into a pointer. Lifting out of the ribs, lifting the ribs. Inhale, exhale, start to roll the tailbone back to the floor, squeezing the glutes, and then breathing into the heart. Exhale, release, come forwards, hands into either side of the front leg. And then just flossing here, taking some nice deep breaths. Okay, let's come into our twist now, keeping the knees, that right knee on the floor. Right hand comes down, belly hugs in, take the left hand to the sky. Keep drawing the knees in towards each other and extending up through the spine and then winding the ribs open towards the left as you extend out through to those top fingertips. Now push into your front leg and keep extending out through those fingertips as you come up. So you're twisting towards the other side. This is the one I did the wrong. Okay, turn your left palm facing up. So your right palm facing up. And then keep reaching it upwards. So you're feeling a nice opening now through that right side of your body. That left hand now comes around and maybe hold on to your hip length. And then now squaring the body back to the center. And then keep lifting up, lifting the ribs. And then as you exhale, keep rolling the tailbone under as we reach back with that right hand. All right, exhale, belly hugs in. We now slice forwards, try to get that elbow onto the outside of your leg. If you can't reach, if the elbow doesn't bend, use the straighten the arm. All right, so from here, keep lifting the spine and then winding your ribs towards the left. If you can, get the elbow down, you take the other hand around, bring the hands into prayer and try to get the heart center in line with the thumbs. All right, from here, let's release. Coming back up. And come forwards for a moment, come back. All right, and then let's tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, inhale. Take the arms up, come into our high lunge, come into another back bend here, lifting the back heel. And then exhale, sprinkle the hands forwards, step your back foot in. Inhale halfway, exhale to forward fold, taking some nice deep breaths here. Releasing across the back. Keep widening out across the hips. Keep lifting the hips back up towards the sky. Okay, when you're ready, bend the knees, roll yourself back up. Hands along the sides, inhale. Exhale back to the heart. Take a few nice deep breaths here. Okay, when you're ready, take the arms up, take hold of your right wrist, shoulders away from the ears. Inhale as we exhale, reaching across, opening up. Belly hugs in, inhale back, shoulders down, second side. Inhale back up. Exhale, bend the knees, widen the hips, forward fold. Inhale to halfway, release the lower back. Exhale down, inhale leading with the heart for your back bend. So come into modified or full, maybe bring the hands above the head, maybe bring the toes together, lifting up, make sure that there's no pinching in the lower back, whatever variation that you're in. Belly hugs in, inhale back up, exhale bend the knees, widen the hips, forward fold. Inhale to halfway. Okay, exhale, bend the knees. Bring your hands into your hips, pulling the hips back. So we feel that direction of the hips drawing back. And then extending the arms out. 3 breaths here. So inhale, we extend out. We're pulling the hips back, but we're extending out through our fingertips like we're trying to touch the wall in front of us. Okay, and then as we exhale, we squeeze through the backs of the shoulder blades as we keep hugging the belly in and hovering the belly above the thighs. Inhale, lengthen out, keep pulling back into the hips as you extend your fingers out. Exhale, squeeze the backs of your shoulder blades. One more, inhale, lengthen. Exhale and squeeze. Inhale and lengthen. From here, we come up into chair. And then slide the shoulders down, roll the tailbone under, sink deeper into your legs. So hands can be in a cactus position or in prayer or straight up. Now from here, we gently start to lower the bum, lower the arms, and come down. Bring your hands down if you need to. Bring yourself back and then come into your boat. All right, and you've done your 5. From here, roll yourself back, maybe into low boat. And then come all the way down and legs to the sky. Okay, we're going to do 3 on each side. So we take our arms above the head. Inhale, lengthen. As we exhale, we hug the belly in. We take the right leg down as we reach to the left. So reach to your left or your other side. So right leg comes down and then left leg up. Inhale back, sorry. Must be going blind. Exhale to the second side. Inhale back up. Exhale to the first side. Inhale back up. Exhale to the second side. Inhale back. Exhale first side. Inhaling back. And then exhale to the second side. Inhale it back. Take a couple of breaths here if you need to hug your knees in. And maybe rock from side to side. Okay. When you're ready, bring the feet down. All right. So option here is either to come back into your shoulder bridge or come up into your full bridge. So for like we did before, we can either have your feet parallel and rolling up like this. So this is your shoulder bridge. Otherwise, if you're coming into your full bridge, you bring your hands by your head and then inhale, we start to scoop the same way up. We tuck the tailbone under, lifting up. When you get to your shoulders, you push into your hands, rolling the weight towards your feet and then pushing up. So we'll hold it for 5 breaths to come out. You bring your head back down and you roll yourself back down. Okay, so same way to come down. We come to the crown of the head and roll back down. So let's find your option and stay in for 5 breaths. So when you're ready, start to push into your feet, tuck your tailbone under and scoop up. And then keep lifting the hips and breathing into the front of the body. Make sure your thighs are not rolling out. Okay. When you've done your 5 breaths, roll yourself back down and then come back down onto your back. Catch your breath here. Just observing sometimes as we do that, not only are we physically bending, we're squeezing all our kidneys, our adrenals at the back of the body. So sometimes it can just bring your awareness to the subtle layers. And just breathing into it, as long as there's no pinching in your bones, it's fine for the physical. All right, from here, let's come back into our twist with the legs up to the sky. So bring the feet up, take the arms up. Inhale, as we exhale, come towards your left. And right leg comes down. Option, bend the knee, take the arms out or hold the foot. Okay, we pop the hips towards the left and then belly hugs in. Keep the shoulder down and then come into your twist. Breathing into the back of the body, releasing from our back bend. Okay, when you're ready, come back to center. Bend the knees and rock from side to side. Circle the knees in one direction, back the other way. Just check in. You might feel one side compared to the other. Circling knees in one direction and back the other way. All right, let's do the second side. So legs to the sky, hands above the head. Inhale as we exhale, reach to the second side and then take your right hand out. Option to bend the knee, hold the side of your knee, or option to hold the foot. Pop your hips to your right and then exhale, belly hugs in. Keep the right shoulder grounded and gently bring that knee or foot across. Once again, keep the shoulder grounded. That knee or foot might not touch the floor and that's fine. So you might look like this. Releasing lower back, middle back, upper back and shoulder. Okay, when you're ready, release the bind, come back through center and hips in the middle, hug the knees in, circling knees in one direction and back the other way. Opposite directions and back the other way. Okay, now from here, come either legs to the sky, roll into a forward fold, maybe with the knees bent, or roll back into your plough and take some nice deep breaths here. Releasing across the back of the body. And maybe starting to a little bit deeper. If you're in your plough, maybe you can interlace fingers, squeeze your elbows, squeeze your hands together, lift up through the hips, walk the feet closer in towards the head. If you're in your plough, make sure that the weight is on your shoulders, not on your neck. And then if you like, you can extend the legs to the sky. If you're in your shoulder stand, release the feet back down and then bring the hands. And then from here, we're going to come back, and if you're in your forward, we meet back in boat. Okay, so rolling back, find that balance on your sit bones and come back into your boat position for 5 breaths. All right, from here, let's cross the feet, bring the hands forwards and step or float yourself back into plank. Okay, so maybe bring the knees back down now. Tuck your toes under. So it might be easier to just restack your knees underneath the hips like a tabletop. Okay, and just lift your hips, lift the knees, sorry, not your hips, lift the knees, and just hover it here. So you want to feel what's activating here around your core and around your lats. So you're rounding the upper back and you're keeping the core really nice and active. Okay, so from here you can stay in this position and then drop the chest and slide through. Okay, or you can walk the hands out and keep the knees down. Okay, so from your back bend, breathing in, opening the heart. Exhale, lower back down. Okay, from here, take your hands out. And then from here, bring your left hand by your hip and your right hand is in front of you. Okay, now we're going to lengthen from your fingertips of your right hand to your opposite toes. Inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, you're going to keep the eye gaze down and you're going to squeeze the glutes and lift. Exhale, release. Release the hands, turn your head to the side. Take a few breaths. Let's do that again. Taking that same right hand, left foot, lengthen out. Notice how the body might want to twist, engage the core, and then as you exhale, squeeze the glutes and then lift. Exhale, release. Turn your head to the other side, release the hands. Okay, from here, let's do the second side. So take your left hand out, right hand is by your hip. Okay, and then we extend out through from the fingertips of your left hand across to the opposite leg. Okay, lengthen out, inhale. As we exhale, we start to squeeze and lift. And then when you're ready, exhale, release. Hands by the hips, turn your head back to the first side. Let's do that again. So left hand, right leg, lengthening out. And as we exhale, squeeze and lift. And then exhale, release. Release the hands back to the hips, turn your head to the second side. Okay, from here, we're going to lengthen the spine, roll the shoulders away from the ears. So we lengthen up and then we roll the shoulders down. You can interlace your hands behind your back. And then we're going to lengthen the spine. Inhale as we exhale now. We're going to start or the hands can be also just facing, palms facing or squeezing. Yep, so when we pull, we can squeeze a little bit more. Lengthen up, and then as you exhale, we start to squeeze and lift. Both legs now. Keep squeezing the backs of your shoulder blades, squeezing your glutes, your tibias rolling back, and you're drawing your hands towards your feet. Eye gaze can be down, it can be forwards, or maybe drawing up. Make sure there's no crunching in the neck. Exhale, release. And just turning the head to the side. Just taking some nice deep breaths here. Okay, when you're ready, come back to center. And all right, we release the hands. Take your right hand out now in front of you. You're going to bend your left foot, reach your left hand forwards, and maybe hold the foot, or maybe hold your ankle. Okay, if you hold your ankle, flex your foot, or maybe hold your shin. If you can't reach, grab your strap and hook your strap across your ankle and flex your foot. Okay, so if you have the ankle, make sure that the foot is flexed. Okay, so you're stabilizing through your ankle. So there's tension in that strap, so you don't want it to be wobbly. All right, so once we have that, option 1 is just lift the other leg. Option 2, grab the other foot. Okay, make sure your knees aren't rolling out to the sides. And then from here, we start to squeeze the back and we start to lift. Maybe starting to rock a little bit and massaging out through abdominal area. Make sure there's no pinching in your back. Lift the back knee. Okay, when you're ready, let's release. Turn the head to the side, hands by the hips, and just take some nice deep breaths here, resting on your cheek. When you're ready, let's do the second side. So you're going to take your left hand in front, your right hand comes around, right knee bends, and holding your right foot or the ankle or your strap around the ankle or your shin. Okay, so flex your foot, push the heel away, draw the toes back towards your knee, keep that leg active. Notice how that knee wants to roll out, so start to keep the hip square. Okay, maybe one leg and you're lifting up, or both legs. And now really squeeze your glutes, lift your back knee. The more that you can lift your back knee, or push your foot or your shins into your hand if you're holding it. Or keep lifting the back knee, squeezing the backs of your shoulder blades, maybe rocking a little bit to get a little bit higher. Exhale, release. Release the hands, turn your head to the second side. Okay. From here, let's inhale back up, bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale, come into either Sphinx or baby cobra or up dog. And then exhale, roll yourself back into down dog. Stretch out across the back here. Maybe roll the tailbone under. Drawing the hips from side to side as you stretch across the back. When we shake the head from side to side, release the neck, nod it up and down. Okay, and then from here, just look in between the hands, and then we're just going to step the right foot forwards. Bring your hands just a little bit forwards. And then from here, float the back leg. Come into your supported warrior 1. Bend the front knee if you need to. Okay, now bending the front knee, and we're going to see if we can come up, transition that leg through. Floating that left knee. Okay, so here now we're going to start to bring that foot around. Hold on to the foot with your left hand. Okay, and use a wall if you need to. From here, bend your supporting knee. Maybe make a little mudra, thumb and index, with your other hand, and start to hinge at the hip as you start to push that foot into your hand. And let's release here. Bring the hands back into prayer. Step that foot back into warrior 1. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, release the hands. Step the foot back. Come back into plank. Option to come through a flow with your Knees, chest, and chin, and then come back through down dog. Okay, from here, take the left leg, step it through, sprinkle your fingertips, and then come up into supported warrior one. Okay, bend your supporting knee, engage your core, find your balance, and see if we can transition that foot through. Bending the knee, holding onto the inside of the foot with your right hand, and then coming into your dancer's pose here. Pushing, lifting that back knee, push your foot into the hand and hinging at the hips. All right, exhale, release. Step the foot back, bring the hands down. So we come back into warrior one, bring the hands down and flip back into plank. Okay, bring the knees down or hover the knees, and then we come through. Opening the heart. Exhale, roll back into down dog. Take a couple of breaths here. All right, and then from here, roll back onto your knees. Bring your knees together, roll your tailbone under and come back into child's pose with the knees together and rolling the tailbone under. So we're getting a really nice stretch across the lower back here. And just breathing into the body, maybe soften the elbows. And just check in, notice how everything feels. Okay, when you're ready, roll yourself back up, lengthen up, shoulders away from the ears. Either roll your feet to the side or roll back over your toes. So option one, you just sort of bring your feet to the side. Option two, get a stretch through the tops of your feet by bringing the hands back, rolling over the toes and extending the feet back out. Okay, let's come into one more snail or forward fold. So option one, bend the knees and then come forwards and relax here. Option two, come into snail where we roll all the way back and then bring your hands onto your back, bend your knees and try to melt your knees onto either side of the ears. Just take 5 nice deep breaths here, whatever is a nice position for you. And then when you're ready, roll yourself down or up onto your back. Extend the legs out, give everything a little shake. If you need to, hug the knees back in or rock from side to side or do a little twist, maybe just dropping the knees from one side to the other. Catch your breath here, and then we'll finish off just with one more deep twist on each side. So you can come in like we did earlier, a little bit more dynamic, or you can either just pop the hips across and then hug the belly in as we come back into that position, or we can take the legs back up as we exhale, coming to one side. And we're doing that same little twist we did before. So come to one side, bend the knee if you need to, bring the hand up by the shoulder. Okay, and then pop the hips across to that same side of the top leg, hug the belly in, and then gently come into your twist. So releasing across the back. When you're ready, release the knee or the foot, belly hugs in. Inhale, pop the hips back to center, and then just circling knees in one direction, back the other way, opposite directions, and then other way. And then we'll do the second side. So from here, hands up, inhale, exhale, reach to the second side, open the arms out, take the hips, sorry, I didn't do my foot, pop the hips across, and then as you exhale, hug the belly in, as you bring that foot or knee across. Breathing into the body, a bit more deeper, and then when you're ready, hug the belly in, inhale back, and then circle the knees in one direction, back the other way. Take the knees apart, circle them in opposite directions, and back the other way. Okay, come into happy baby. Bring the soles of the knees in towards the armpits, and then bring the feet to the sky. Hold wherever is comfortable. Backs of the knees, calves, ankles, or the outside edges of the feet. Widen out across your back, and just gently rock from side to side, getting that nice massage out across the back. And then when you're ready, release the feet and just slide them out, little shake, and then come back into stillness. So from here, feet just a little bit wider than hip width, falling out to the side so the hips can relax. Lengthening the spine, widen the shoulders, and then sliding the shoulders back down away from the ears into their sockets. If you need more space for your lower back, you can have a little bend in the knees with the feet to the edges of your mat, knees rolling in, or you just roll the tailbone under, relax it back down. So just find what feels good for your body this morning, and then just melting down for a couple of minutes and just deepening the breath. Just observing the breath, observing the energy. So back bends are the element of fire. So as we come into summer, it's nice just to charge everything up as we squeeze through, squeeze out the toxins, squeeze out through the glandular system, and get that fire and passion and energy for our lives. Okay, and then from here, if you're watching this as a video, if you want to stay for a little bit longer in Shavasana, please feel free to take that time. Otherwise, if you feel ready to come out, just gently bring some movement back in, maybe stretching out, maybe hugging the knees in, or giving yourself a hug, or maybe rolling into a little ball, maybe rocking from side to side, or circling the knees, or just do whatever feels good. Everything here is just a suggestion. You might just be relaxing in stillness a little bit longer, maybe circling. And then when you're ready, just bring your hand underneath your head, create a pillow for your neck, roll onto your preferred side in a nice, nourishing fetal position. Keep the body nice and relaxed. And then when you're ready, slowly straighten the top leg, push into the top hand, and support yourself to come back into a comfortable seated position. Okay, so sit bones even, lengthening the spine. Roll the shoulders away from the ears and tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth behind the two front teeth. Let's take a couple of nice, deep grounding breaths here into the body. Just allowing the breath and the energy to return to normal with the spine tall. And just check in with the body. Notice how you're feeling. Hopefully feeling a little bit more open, a little bit clearer, and a little bit more energized than when we first began. When your breath and energy feels like it has returned to normal, let's inhale, hands into prayer, the heart to close. Breathing into the heart center and closing our practice here. Ready? Make the eyes open, bowing our heads. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. And if any questions or comments, please write them below. Thank you.